guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I want to criticize VideoGameDunkey's criticism on Octopath Traveler, out now on the Nintendo Switch. And if you follow my channel, you would have seen I made a first impressions video the other day, talking about playing through about the first 40 hours of gameplay and what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and going forward what I'm expecting out of the game. And I had people tell me I had to watch VideoGameDunkey's take on it because, one, it was extremely controversial, and two, it was a little bit out of the norm for what to expect out of his videos as far as making jokes that didn't really hit home. So before I watched it, I wanted to make my first impressions video, and after that, the first thing I did was watch his video, and we need to talk about it. JT. Now first off, I wouldn't even care so much about his criticism of this, except he made a video talking about video game criticisms.
Game critics fucking suck, right guys?
Yeah.
It's fresh in his mind on what he expects out of somebody criticizing a game and what it should have, what it shouldn't have, and everything in that realm. And then he makes his video on Octopath Traveler.
You can have 8 characters. Not at a time, mind you, and goddamn, are these the most generic, uninteresting characters you can whip up.
Well, I will give him the story is a bit disjointed. Where his review and critiques start to fall apart is when he starts nailing things down that aren't necessarily true. Talking about the turn-based battles.
Now let's fight a level 1 snail in Octopath Traveler. Okay, now do that 50 times and you can fight the next boss.
Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people don't like turn-based battles, but the way you portray that in your video talks about how it takes forever to kill a snail when your character, Olberg in this case, was like level 21 and it took him 3 turns to kill him. You weren't using the right weapons, you weren't attacking him the proper way. There's a unique complexity to the dynamic battles in this game that wasn't even talked about in the video. It was just brushed aside to, here's how long it takes to fight this enemy, and maybe he was trying to make a joke with that. It didn't really make me laugh though, because it portrayed the game in a way that was so not true that it actually got me upset. It presented people who were not familiar with this game, that watch VideoGameDunkey religiously and only watch him for his opinion on games because they base their purchasing decisions off of what he has to say about something, and he's misrepresenting the facts of a game just to try to make a joke, and that really falls flat.
There are promising elements somewhere in this game, but I don't think it's worth wading through a sea of monotonous grinding to find them.
And similar to that point, he also talks about a part of the storyline with Ophelia talking to the priest who's dying. She keeps saying, "Your Excellency, Your Excellency," and yes, it does get annoying. I remember that part of the game, but it's not nearly as annoying as he made it out to be.
Excellency, I was but an orphan, Your Excellency. Your Excellency!
This kindness of yours will not be your ruin.
Your Excellency?
Really redundant. He cut and clipped really redundant. All those pieces together, really redundant. To make it sound really redundant. But when you actually play it out in real time, it's a lot more spread out than that and doesn't come across as hitting you in the face with the same line of text over and over repetitively like he does in his video.
A dream, Your Excellency?
Promise me that you will love one another forever.
Your Excellency.
It didn't even represent the facts of the game, and that's the biggest takeaway that I had with his review, if you can even call it that. His coverage, if you will, of Octopath Traveler. Dunkey confirmed afterwards from the video that he didn't even complete the game, which is understandable because he didn't have enough time before the game was coming out to spend 80 hours on this game to let people know, here it is from beginning to end, and I didn't like it. Which brings up a completely different point to this video of, do you even need to complete a game in order to review it? And I'm a strong defender of people who say, you don't need to complete a game in order to review it, especially if the game is bad or it's not resonating with you. Why are you going to continue playing the game past 10-15 hours into it if it sucks? If the game sucks at 10 to 15 hours into it, you don't need to keep playing it. The game sucks. If it takes 20 to 30 hours for a game to get good or for you to realize something about a game, The game should have hooked you a lot sooner than that. But this review from Dunkey, while it talks about what he likes and doesn't like about the game, he doesn't describe them in a factual manner, so it comes across to the end viewer, especially those who know about Octopath Traveler, who have played the game, who watch this video. It's really hard for that to hit home and be like, yeah man, I feel you on this one. No, it felt lazy. It felt kind of mailed in as far as, at the end of the day, when you have nearly 5 million subscribers on YouTube, you have a responsibility to provide good content every time you put a video out. And if you don't feel like the video is up to par with where you expect your quality to be at, don't release the video, or at least release the video and be more honest about where you're at with it. Maybe you have contractual obligations as to how many you have to get out a week, or you promise the company you do it by a certain day. I get you, but if it's gonna come out that poorly, you need to have some sort of information in the video to say, hey, I understand this is not entirely factual, this is a parody on why I hate role-playing games so much. Be a little bit more direct about it, because the way this video came off, it just showed like you were trying to misrepresent information to make jokes. And that's a really scary proposition if influential channels with nearly 5 million subscribers are going to be misrepresenting facts on games to make jokes. That's just not fair to the developers and how much time they put into these games to make them as great as they are. That's not saying that Octopath Traveler is perfect. Like I said in my first impressions video, there's a ton of things that I have an issue with on it. But I'm still enjoying my time with it, and I represented the facts as honestly as I could in my video. And at the end of the day, that's all people have come to expect out of Dunkey, is a little bit of comedy and an honest review and perspective of a game. And if you can't even give a fair perspective, then don't be making the video in the first place. At least that's how I feel about it. As long as you're presenting the information in a factual light, make all the jokes you want, but don't start misrepresenting things just to try to be funny. That's where you go wrong. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.